guys a story. So back in 2007, something apocalyptic happened. The iPhone came. And for the rest of us who were working in the mobile industry, especially Nokia, I mean, you know what happened, right? The rest is history. And the reason for that was because we were so focused on hardware, right? We thought we made the best hardware in the world. Everybody talked about how you could kill somebody if you hit them with a Nokia phone. It is true. And we were so focused on that we didn't think about software, and we didn't think about ecosystem. We didn't think about the fact that there were actually real people using this fantastic device that we so took for granted. Apple did. They did something called user experience. They did something called ecosystem. They did something called horizontalization, right? Completely new. So where's Nokia today? Trying to make a comeback. Where's Apple? Market leaders, way ahead of everybody else. And it was because we had this learning in the mobile industry that about a year ago, we were a very young startup. We were incorporated in July of last year. We decided to start a company called Third Space Auto. The reason why it's called the third space is because you spend a lot of time in your home, you spend a lot of time in the office, and then there's third space, which is where you spend a lot of time, which is your car. So why is it that your car is not as personal as your phone? Because, hey, you spend a heck of a lot of time in it. In fact, you transport your entire family in it. So how come it doesn't even know who you are, let alone whether you're a man or a woman, right? Big question. In the mobile industry, we do. And the reason for that is because, that's a video. Okay. The reason for that is because we use something called sensors. We use something called apps. We learn about the person. We take all this data about you. We're able to condense it. We're able to make inferences about you. Guess what? Your car is a very, very, very powerful computing device, and I'm sure you've heard the statistic many times. There's more code in your car than a Boeing 747, right? But in spite of that, it knows nothing about you. So what we want to do is turn that on its head. We want to talk about something called context. Context means knowing who you are, knowing what you do, knowing where you're going, and we want to be able to collect the sensor data that you have from the car and from your mobile devices, put a little layer of machine learning. I'm not going to throw words like AI and all that stuff at you because everyone does that. Essentially what we're doing is just taking all this information and parsing it so that we understand a bit more about you. So we're really lucky because there are a couple of companies here in this very traditional industry who understand technology, like Volkswagen. So we're working with them to bring this to life. And the other thing that we also are very aware of is user experience and interface. If I create a fantastic piece of tech that nobody can use because it's just such a crap user experience, nobody cares. So which is why the interface becomes really important. So we're focusing on using voice to be able to talk to you and to be able to engage with you and to learn from you, because you're supposed to keep your eyes on the road and hands on the wheel, right? How many people actually do that? We don't do that because cars today are not built to facilitate that interaction with us. We developed phones, right? And we didn't develop them to be mimicked in the car. Why does the HMI in a car look like a mobile device? Why? I mean, you have touch targets on a mobile device and a touch screen. Why is that mimicked on a car? You're not supposed to be touching that. And we understand that, so we use voice.